Okay, so this should hopefully be a short, um, brief tutorial on getting some drums set up, some making beats, and like what you can do with it in live that you can't do in other like programs like GarageBand. So we will mainly just work on the beats, and then like the next tutorial we can go over adding a bass line or something. So the first thing I'm going to do is go into MIDI, the MIDI track here. I'm just going to create one drum set for this one track, and then we're going to use that and section off the individual sections of the drums in other tracks. So bear with me. We're just going to start with this one track, and I'll go to the drums, create a drum rack. And like we could choose just a whole kit, and it would come up with, these things here. And let's see if I probably need to hear it at some point. Okay. So that's just like the acoustic kit. We can go through and find other stuff. The thing that I would suggest doing is to start with a drum rack. So by itself, there's nothing in there. If you go over to packs, you should have this, so I hope you do. So we go to core library, and we can go down to drums. And these are just like the other kits, but they're like full kits. So this would be a full 808 kit. So it has that, but again, I don't want to do that. I just want to start with the drum rack, go to packs. I'm going to scroll down to sounds, I believe. Let's see. All right. Drums. Is it in drum hits? Yeah, it is in drum hits. Okay, so we go into the drum hits section, and I'm going to piece together the drum kit for myself. The benefit of doing this is that I can pick different kick drums from different kits and do things like that. So I'm going to use this row here at the bottom of the drum rack just for kicks. This row will be for snare, and this row will be for hi-hat. That's all we're going to work with right now. So I go to kick, and I can choose a kick. So I'm going to start with the kick 808. Click and drag it into C. Oh, hang on. One of the problems. Okay. Click and drag it into C1. What that does is there's a whole range. We could use a whole range of all the MIDI notes, and that's why that moved on me. I want to be on C1 right now. That should be the standard with the Kong or the Korg pad control. It would line up with these notes. So it just automatically defaults and goes there. So let's see. I've got a kick 808, which is good. Let's also see. I know there was more than this. This is the list I'm looking for. Sorry. So this same kick is there, so it's fine. But under the samples, I have the whole list of kicks that are available. So all of those drum kits that have been made have the individual samples in this one section for kicks. So I can go to kick 45 vinyl and test that out. Sure, let's use that as well. We might not make the greatest drum beat in the world, but who cares? Let's try something with sub. See if it says anything. I saw something under. Kick sub, there we go. Here's some subs, which are good. We're going to choose a long sub as well. I'm going to try with, let's do kick sub 909 long. Okay, so there's 3 different drums. It's like the classic 808, just kind of a real like vinyl sample of a drum kick, and then a sub kick. Okay, so we're gonna move on to snare. Let's find the snare. Oh, that sounded pretty good. That'll be our first one. Let's try and find 808 snare. Snare 808. That's the one. We want this one. Old school hip hop snare. Any other ones? Let's add that one. Okay, so the next row I said was going to be hi-hats, so let's go up and get hi-hats. Here's the hi-hat. Now we can have closed or open. I'm going to mainly go with closed right now. Let's see. It's a nice simple one. We want that. And then that could be good. All right. So that's kind of good. It's a kick and a snare. Okay. So okay. So okay, we've got some samples in there. This is our drum kit now. It's all on this drum rack. Now, first thing I want to do, let's just make a simple 4-beat 4 beats, and I don't know, let's do 105 beats per minute. 105. Okay, so again, if you kind of remember from the last one, I hit record to start that. It's because you used to be, that's how you used to do it. You can actually just double click into the cell and it will create one. So I'm going to delete those. But if you double click into any of those, it's just going to create a MIDI section. And then all we have to do is drag it on this side over to the number 5, because that's the end of bar 4. Or, yeah, beat 4. Okay, so here's 5. So that means that it's got 4. Zoom out a little bit. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, and so on. Okay. Here's all of our drums down here. And also, I've got a grid. So if I was to hit this kick, it would make a 16th note. If I undo that and I change the grid, so I'm going to right click on the grid itself, and I can change 1/16 to 1/8. And now I do that, it's going to make an 1/8. I can still drag it to wherever I want, but knowing how long we want our kick for is helpful. So you can use that to kind of figure out some stuff, and I'll get to that more of that later. But we have 8th note is good for now. Let's just do 8 notes. Now I'm gonna actually start with the hi-hat. I'm gonna do a stupid simple hi-hat. Oh, this is the one I want. Yeah, simple hi-hat. So if I'm just double clicking in these, it'll make a 8th note hi-hat beat. So if I hit play, that's 8th notes. Actually, let's do 16th notes for the hi-hat, and then so I'll go here. I'm gonna get rid of these. So I can select all of these, right? I can just do this, and if I hit Command on the keyboard, if I hit Command D, so I hold down the Command button and hit D, it duplicates it right after the next part. So I can do that throughout. And I can also do that, now I've got it through a whole first one, I can duplicate that. Oops, that's not how you want to do it though. You want to select those. Now you duplicate. And then we can just do that again. And now we've got 16th notes for the hi-hat. And it's kind of annoying. So actually I did want 8th notes, but having the 16th notes, I can, so I'm gonna back up a bit. Okay, so I'm gonna delete this one. I'm gonna keep them as 16th hits, but have them as 8th notes. So if I hit here, or I can hit shift and, oh, actually I don't want to do that. So I want to go this whole section, duplicate. I can do that. All the way through. Okay, so now when we play it, kind of like 110 beats per minute. Or 90. Who knows? See what you like, but I'm gonna stick with 90 real quick. And then go, let's have a kick here. And delete the one I had, and I'm going to highlight that and duplicate. Let's just duplicate that all around. Okay. Now I had a sub, so I can do, let's see. highlight all of this, hit copy, and go to the sub. Oops. Let's see. There's another way to do this. Anyways, you could just screw it. I'm just going to do it for simple because I'm doing all the key commands. That's kind of annoying probably for you. I'm just going to add the one here. So actually here I'm going to show you this key command. So if I click on this one and I hit Option and I click and drag the kick up, it makes a copy of it. So if I selected all of them, so I held Shift down and I click on all of them, and then I let up on all of it, and while it's all highlighted like that, I hold down the Option key and I click it and I drag it up here. Now I've got the kick 808 with a kick sub 909 long. The other thing to do, so that while those are highlighted, I'm going to highlight these as well. And then I'm going to drag them, click on one of them, and just drag it out, and they'll all go longer. So I'm going to make them all go to a full length like that. So what I just did was made a kick drum beat pattern, and then I copied it and extended it. So let's hear what that sounds like. Not so exciting, but you know, whatever. Okay, so let's have a snare in there. Let's see which snare we like. Okay, I'm gonna delete it real quick. I'm gonna figure out where the snare is gonna go. Right about there, right? Nope, this one. Just a hair off. No, maybe I'm wrong. Let's just see what sounds good. Before the kick. Oh, that sounds kind of cool. Let's maybe have a there, so let's add that 170s in there. Nah, I don't know about that. What about this kick drum though? So we need another one of these. It's on, let's see, 2.2. So if I go to 4.2 and then set that there, here's 4.2. And it should be in the same spot. I just need that other kick here. That sounds good there too. All right, close enough for now. Okay, so we've made a drum kit and we've made a beat that was all in one channel. So now we're going to separate those into the individual pieces of the drum kit, and you can do a lot of cool stuff with that. So I'm going to take this track, so I'm going to highlight up here, and I've got kick, snare, hi-hat, and that ambient thing, right? So I've got 4 runs. So I'm going to duplicate this track 4 times. So if I right-click it and I say duplicate, it's going to make a second one. And I can do that again. And I can do that one more time. And now I'm going to rename this kick. Rename this snare. Rename this one hi-hat. And rename this one, I don't know, AMB for ambient. Okay, so now we've got all those duplicated, and what it duplicated was the pattern we made too. So in our kick, we only want kick in there. So we can now select everything that's not the kick and delete it. So I'm going to go here, highlight all that stuff, hit delete, and it's gone. And that's my kick one, right? So if I click on this one, we can make these a different color too, by the way. That'd be kind of probably helpful. Let's make snare blue. Make kick black. And make our track colors match it too. So kick, and snare will be blue, and then hi-hat's gotta be gold. Give me a gold. Close enough? Yeah, it's goldish, yellowish. Let me say yellow. Ambient, what color do I like for that? Let's say white. And make that white. Do I have it somewhere over here? There we go. Okay. I'm gonna delete these tracks. I just selected them and hit delete on the keyboard. So I just delete them so we don't have them confusing us or whatever. So we click on kick and you see that only the kick's available because I deleted that stuff. I'm gonna go to snare and it looks like the other one because obviously we haven't deleted it yet. So I'm gonna get rid of all the hi-hat. That's all of this up here. Hit delete. And now get rid of the kicks. Delete. Okay, so now it's just snare. Go to hi-hat, do the same thing, and get rid of all this down here. And then ambient, we're gonna delete everything. Oops, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? Sorry. I can click in here and hit Command A, it selects all of it, and Command A for all, and then I hit delete and there's nothing there. So we'll worry about that in a second. But let's go to, so now we've got kick, snare, hi-hat. Okay, and if I hit, I'm actually just gonna delete this thing, this clip, because I don't want it confusing anything. We can add it later. But so I'm gonna hit 1, right? This 1 over here triggers this whole row. And when I do that, it'll sound the same. It'll sound like the drum beat we had. But now they're separated into the separate tracks. So I'm gonna hit stop down here. Stops it all. And what I can do now is go into my kick, and I can drop audio effects over here. So if I want to have audio effects, so for the kick, let's give it lots of bass. Let's say EQ 8. And then it'll show us a representation of it, so I'm gonna hit play. You can see where the bass is at. I'm gonna like just boost it, give it. It could get funky or something. I don't know. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna add, see how this is clipping over here? It's like getting red, not great. I'm going to add a limiter. So if I go over to limiter, drop the effect there. I can bring the gain down. So I can get rid of it entirely. So if I go to the ceiling, so I can actually boost it and it'll sound louder. So I turn this way up, right? And then set the ceiling to just under. See, it's still not red. Like, if I go to 0 dB, it will be red. See, it's even before that. But if I bring it down, the ceiling, and that little reverse made it go, so I'm going to bring it down to about 6 something, that's probably good. That keeps it from peaking and doing all that stuff. But we can kind of get some of the sounds out of it that sound kind of neat, so. Okay, so here's the next cool thing we can do. I'm going to get rid of the hi-hat on this one, just move it down here. And I'm going to copy these. Well, actually I can do what I showed you earlier. So if I have them highlighted like I did, so if I click anywhere, right, it's not there. If I click on it, and then if I hit Shift on the keyboard and hit this, it will select both of those. Or I could hit Command and it'll do the same thing. Now if I hold down Option, key on the keyboard, and drag it down, it will copy and add those. So now if I hit this first row, it's going to be no hi-hat. So we could even say for the first one, we only want maybe this section. And that's just the kick. The snare is still doing its thing. See, it's still running at full length. Okay, so I've sectioned off that little area. I've boosted some bass on it, on the track itself. Let's mess with the snare. Let's do, no. Okay, so let's go to the hi-hat actually. And I'm gonna put that beat repeat thing on it. So hit this tab over here and hit drop audio effects. So there's beat repeat. It'll add there. If you click on this little arrow, it will give you some presets that do stuff. I'm just gonna show you how it works in general. So we already looked at it a little bit, but I'm gonna show you what it does again. So we hit that. I can add a filter to it. Add some decay to it. Pitch that decay. we can, let's go to 30-second notes, yeah? This way. Ooh, 24 is kind of cool too. Okay, 24 is better. Maybe 16 is better. Gonna have the gate run it out. You can change how often it'll do it. You can say it 2 bars. So now it won't go on this bar. It'll come in again. Okay. We can have it vary. I've limited kind of. But anyways, I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay. So back to this part. So actually, let's cut that in the intro. This will be like our intro part, and maybe we don't have that snare repeating. Or we can go, actually, let's make it go longer, and we'll just delete them. Let's add a different snare, like, we made a beat, we had, and so the next thing we'll do is, like add a bass line, or maybe flesh out that drum beat a little bit more or something. See you next time.